We're here to understand Sam Harris. It looks like he has talked again about Pretti, and he's coming at it from the gun angle. Now, he's written a lot about that. He's spoken about guns. He understands, I thought, about the severity of guns, the threat level that they pose. But in this context, I think he's fully audience captured by the audience of his wife and his daughters. And he's viewing this through the hatred of Trump. So when federal agents kill a citizen and gun culture is silent. So I think he is hypocrisy hunting here. Let's see if it applies to me and my stance on this. Go ahead, Sam.
We began in Minneapolis, and this week we're unfortunately back in Minneapolis again with another utterly depressing killing, this time of Alex Pretti, again by what appears to be very poorly trained ICE officers.
Oh, yeah, beyond. I don't even know. I mean, this is poorly trained, poorly vetted. I mean, this is just people who are not behaving like law enforcement officers that are recognizable. I mean,
yeah, okay, so no argument that our police are better trained than ICE. That's just factually true. But what aspect of this is bad training? I mean, be specific, please.
So, the most amazing thing about this killing, apart from how pointless and horrible it was, is the response or lack of response from the gun owners of America. I mean, there's been a few tepid complaints from gun organizations, but we would be in a completely different world if this had happened under Biden or a Kamala Harris presidency.
Okay. So this is the brand of political tribalism that I find to be repugnant and a time-wasting effort. Like, I just see no reason why. We're talking about a guy named Pretti who brought a defective gun to antagonize federal agents and commit crime and then resist arrest, which is another crime. This elevated the threat level. If you're going to come with a gun and resist arrest, you're entering into lethal combat. Like, you have to know that. I mean, so let's call it out for what it is. That's all Pretti's doing. Whether or not the actual shoot was justified, we can determine later. But, like, he spooked them by bringing a defective gun that, when it was disarmed from him, and forcibly so because he was resisting arrest because he was committing crimes, so all on Pretti, that spooked him. That's not being mentioned. Not by Sam, not by anybody. And it's like, that's the reason he's dead. But okay, Sam has pivoted to not talking about the cops. He just gave a throwaway line of like, oh, they're bad, they're badly trained. And now he's going to gun advocates on the right are hypocrites. Okay, well, it's such a weird side quest. It's like, it's obviously Sam's looking at this event and immediately pivoting to how can I dunk on right-wing gun owners for being hypocrites? It's like, okay, even if they were, what is the point of you doing that? So in other words, you're not here to talk about Pretti or ICE. You're here to shit on Trump and right-wingers.
I mean, I'm as astonished by this lack of outrage as by anything that's happened in this last year or so, because this, more than anything that has happened in my lifetime, is a complete repudiation of the Second Amendment. I mean, we have millions of Americans who have been telling us for their entire adult lives that the Second Amendment is basically the central precept of their civic religion. And unlike some gun owners like myself, the real reason to care about it and to own firearms is on the account of these people, not for home defense, but for the remote chance that we're going to find ourselves in the presence of a federal government that is acting tyrannically. They've been preparing for this moment their entire lives, or so they've...
Okay, so a couple points of order. The government is not tyrannical. So you just set that up as this is an example of tyrannical government. It is not. These are federal agents carrying out our law, enforcing our law. So this is not tyranny. You're not part of the American Revolution. This is not the Boston Tea Party. Okay, this is bullshit, what you just spelled out there. And it's also not relevant. So if there were to be a hypocrite that you could find who is kind of quiet on this, whereas if it were a right-winger, he might speak up, where does that get us? Who cares? My position on guns is completely consistent. I don't think anybody should bring a gun to interfere with police. I don't think you should resist arrest and have a gun. I don't think guns for random citizens is good. And so now what? Now what's the point of the story? And also, Sam, you're in favor of gun control. You don't think people should go break laws and go to protests fully armed. Why aren't you making that point right now? Surely this should be a moment for you to be consistent on your stance about the Second Amendment, which is you don't think this guy should go commit crimes and resist arrest with a gun. Or you could make the very relevant point, which is he shouldn't have that defective gun, because that defective gun went off by accident and it spooked everyone and led to him being killed, which you're pretending to care about. Now, if you pretended to care about that, you should mention why he got killed, instead of just saying or implying that it was just a random murder from badly trained officers.
Said, and where the hell are they? Right? I mean, I think if that Pretti killing had happened under Kamala Harris, the next ICE deployment or the next Border Patrol, even more relevantly in this case, because they're the ones who killed him, deployment would be shadowed by 500 guys with AR-15s. Right? I mean,
we don't want that. We don't want the Black Panthers showing up with guns and doing displays of force. We don't want right-wing militias. It's a bad thing. And you think it's bad, and it is bad. And so, but the one talking point that makes these people feel good is, hey, you're better than theoretical hypocrites on the right. Okay, well, if the people on the right are being hypocritical about their stance on guns, then they're on our side. Okay, they have switched their position, at least in this case, so why don't we take them up on that and take yes for an answer and say, okay, guys, thank you, we agree. You shouldn't bring guns to a protest. Because Sam doesn't want to go against this guy because Sam is against ICE. And Sam's wife is against ICE. And so Sam is against ICE. And so that point will be diminished, and we're now talking about a non-existent problem. The hypocrisy of gun-toting Second Amendment types who are now quiet on Pretti, that is not a problem in our world at all. And in fact, it should be a win for people who are in favor of sensible gun ownership and the role that guns should play in civic life. Okay, that is an issue.
It's unimaginable to me that they're having this lack of response, because what we saw from the president and vice president to Kristi Noem to Kash Patel to Stephen Miller, the odious Stephen Miller, we had a full court press in one direction, denying the reality of the Second Amendment. I mean, just simply saying that if you're carrying firearms in any kind of proximity to federal law enforcement, that is very likely a death sentence and should be.
It's a sensible stance. And it's so crazy that people like Sam, he should straight up agree with that. He does agree with that. And instead of mentioning that he agrees with that, he's saying, no, I want to focus on the silence, the literal non-existent issue of people not commenting that this guy had a right to carry a weapon. Now, for anybody who is intelligent and sane and morally coherent, you have a right to bear arms. You don't have a right to commit crimes with your gun and to show up to a protest. And that is incredibly giving them the benefit of the doubt that this was a protest. It was active interference, and it was antagonizing of federal agents. So it was seeking a fight with federal agents. That's why when he's Rosenbaum, this is the same, it's a Jewish guy who's hot-headed and angry and kind of a lunatic. He was saying, assault me, motherfucker, assault me. Rosenbaum said, kill me, motherfucker, shoot me. They are looking for a fight, verbally, on camera, with a gun. What do you think the outcome of that is? So that's the story of Pretti. Sam is trying to weaponize the story of Pretti to be like, see, right-wingers are lame and inconsistent. Why? Oh, because they seem to agree with me on guns. Oh, okay, what? Okay, so they're more sensible? Yeah, but they're hypocritical, some of them. Okay, well, good. Good. Their hypocrisy has led to a sane position on whether you should bring guns to a protest and antagonize cops and commit crimes and resist arrest. And I don't think you really have the dub that you think you have here. What is the Second Amendment guy saying? He's saying, even if the guy had a right to carry a weapon, first of all, he shouldn't be carrying that weapon because it's defective, and its defection led to his death. They ghost that fact the same way they ghost the fact that George Floyd swallowed a lethal dose of fentanyl. So the fentanyl is equivalent to the dysfunctional gun that Pretti brought. It was the cause of his death. The fentanyl was the cause of George Floyd's death. They don't mention that because they don't want that to be the cause of his death. They want a white man to blame and say a white man murdered him for no fucking reason. Okay, in the case of Derek Chauvin, he did not murder him. His weight, his 150 pounds, did not murder him. Simply did not happen. The guy's heart was overloaded with a lethal dose of fentanyl. Fentanyl kills. If you don't understand this, you're retarded. But because it is a quest against white men, we will not acknowledge that Pretti brought a defective gun and that gun went off and spooked these officers into a frenzy of what they thought was self-defense. That is the reason for that. That's why that will not be mentioned. And that's why Sam is going on a crusade against, white men. Let's call it what it is. Him saying right-wingers who are pro-Second Amendment is Sam Harris, a Jewish guy, going against white men. And he's white-knighting a Jewish guy who died at the hands of a white man. And he's spinning the narrative to be, how can I frame this so that white men come out looking as bad as humanly possible?
Right. I mean, it's just, add to that the fact that they called him a terrorist and an assassin who's clearly bent on massacre, and just automatically lied in once again in impossible ways, because we all saw the footage.
Well, you're lying through omission, Sam, by not explaining what Pretti was doing, who he was, and his role in this incident. His antagonism, his faulty gun. You not mentioning that is a lie. So you can find somebody who said, oh, he's a terrorist, oh, he's an assassin. Okay, great. There's two people that were hyperbolic in how they described this event. The left have done that nonstop, and they've called it an execution, which is morally atrocious. It's retarded. To label it as such is retarded. You did not mention that because you're on the left and you just want to side with the left and give them a pass, which is, Sam, hypocritical. While you're calling them hypocrites, you are being a hypocrite.
He never reached for his gun. He was fully disarmed.
Hold on, here we go. Now we're doing the story. So this is the oral tradition. You know why the oral tradition sucks? Because it's bullshit. Because from your grandfather to your great-grandfather, the story got fucked and mangled. Right? It never happened. It's a lie. Your grandfather is bullshitting you. So Sam is telling the story, and he says, he didn't reach for his gun. No one said he did, Sam. No one said he did. So Sam going to bat for this Jewish guy. Say it again.
Footage. He never reached for his gun. He was fully disarmed.
Who knew he was fully disarmed? And how would they know he's fully disarmed? So even if you said, oh, they took his gun, they took one of his guns. He had multiple clips. What's to say he had two guns? When have we ever seen that be a thing? He might have had one of those girly guns in his ankle. I've seen that in movies. So they didn't know he was fully disarmed. And now will Sam, Sam, you understand morality, the moral landscape, right? Will you mention that his gun went off? Will you mention that? That he brought a shit gun and his shit gun went off? And that they were returning fire? In their minds, they were returning fire. Why is that not being mentioned here? This man is not stupid. He would understand the point I'm making. What's his excuse for not mentioning the relevant thing? I haven't even hit play. Maybe he will mention it. Let's see.
Restrained, and then they shot him.
Unbe-fucking-leavable. That is unbe-fucking-leavable. There's a guy in The Fish Called Wanda, when he finds out that Ken, his Michael Palin, is offing this old woman. He killed the old woman, who was the one star witness against him. He killed her by killing all her dogs, and she had a heart attack because he had killed all her dogs. And when he finds out this news, he goes, unbe-fucking-leavable. He's excited as hell about it.
Nothing. Unbe-fucking-leavable! Thomason! Yep. Unbe-fucking-leavable!
Sam, it is unbe-fucking-leavable that your telling of the Alex Pretti story is he didn't reach for his gun, just a good little Jewish boy, didn't reach for his gun, he was totally disarmed, and then they shot him. I bring you back to the story. Oh, it was a fateful day. And last fall, I was in Central Park. I saw a horse-drawn buggy, very expensive, but I wanted to say hello to the horse. I went up to the horse. What actually happened was, I pulled out a gun, and I shot it in the air, and this spooked the horse, and the horse took off, and it ran very fast, and it hit a hot dog stand. Now, a week later, when telling that story, imagine if I said, I went up to a horse in Central Park, ... then it started running. And I left out the part where I pulled out a gun and shot the gun, spooking the horse. Imagine if I thought that that wasn't relevant to why the horse ran. You would look at me like I am a dumb piece of shit, or a liar, or just like autistic to a degree that is uncomfortable for both of us. All right? To not mention that the horse was spooked by the gun is an egregious lie, it is indefensible, and it is embarrassing. Now, why, Sam, when you described Alex Pretti, did you cut out and edit out in real time, even though we've seen the goddamn video, and any thinking person, we're aware that the reason these guys shot is because they heard a shot. A shot rang out in the Memphis sky, to quote Bono. When you hear a shot, Sam, and you are detaining a guy resisting arrest who is armed, he's got a gun, and a shot is fired. The shot came from his gun. The fact that one of the agents in this scrum of agents in Mortal Kombat with a douchebag resisting arrest, while there are whistles and yelling and all sorts of noises and horns being beeped, is that a word? When a shot goes off, you then react in a freaked out, panicked way. Holy shit, who just took that shot? Here are your choices. Do. Choice A, it was Alex Pretti. He shot. I mean, it was his gun. Okay, if he is the guy shooting, I should probably shoot him. I mean, he is resisting. He just said he's got a gun. Why the fuck did this guy bring a gun? What's that about? Okay, option 2. A fellow ICE agent of mine shot him, which means he must see something I don't see. He is assessing that threat. He thinks it's worth shooting him. So I might give deference to that guy's wisdom and decision-making and follow suit, shoot as well. Kind of like, when you're around black people in New Orleans, like I was once. I'm happy I survived that. All of a sudden, I heard a shot fired, and then I saw black people running, and they were running in one direction. Do you know what I did? I didn't see what happened. I heard a noise. I saw black people running toward me in one direction. I decided, you know what? I'm going to give deference. I'm going to trust in the judgment of those blacks and the fact that they're running in this direction, and I will now run in this direction. Okay, do you understand that that is human nature, that there was a reason why I ran with the blacks and not against the grain? In the same way, an ICE agent will follow suit, and if you are in Mortal Kombat with some douchebag who brought a gun and his gun just went off, or a gun went off, so option B is a fellow ICE agent has fired upon Pretti, I should then help him and neutralize this fuck. All right. That, by the way, is what the third ICE agent did. Not the one who took the gun, not the first guy that shot, the second guy who shot. He saw his friend, or not friend, colleague, fellow ICE agent, fellow American hero, shooting Pretti, and he said, oh shit, that guy knows something I don't know. I'm going to trust in his judgment and help him because we're on the same side, and shoot the dude. That's his rationale. None of this is being explained. And by the way, I'm not defending any one of these actions. Okay? I don't think that the guy who carried the gun away is at fault. I don't think it's his fault that that gun went off because I know about that gun. And I know that gun goes off if you look at it wrong. So he's not to blame. The first shooter, he has to be judged. Was his action defensible? So we're not even sitting here making moral judgments. We could figure this out in an investigation and in a trial. But to not understand the reality of what happened there. And shooter 2, by the way, is a totally separate trial. Shooter 2, I would be interested in finding out the precedent of the second cop who joins in on a shoot, what onus is it upon him that shoot be valid, given that there is already an officer mag dumping on a suspect? Is it the same criteria? Probably not. I'm not aware of the nuances of that, but I'm aware that it is a different moral proposition. The first guy is shooting in reaction to a shot being fired. His two choices in his mind are, it was either Pretti firing or another one of my ICE agents firing. In both of those cases, I should shoot Pretti. That's what happened in his mind. He is not thinking it's option C, his gun randomly fired and there's nothing threatening us right now, and I should not fire. That is a long stretch to think that he should have concluded that the gunshot was a misfire. Who would hold him to that expectation and standard? Ridiculous. So listen back again to Sam describing this event. It is utterly crazy. Listen to this.
Once again, in impossible ways, because we all saw the footage. He never reached for his gun. He was fully disarmed, restrained, and then they shot him. They put 10 rounds in his body and killed him.
I mean, is this not ridiculous? This guy just absolutely leaped over any moral relevant point of the story and just summarized he was shot. He was disarmed and then shot. And you know why? Because then he can get to his true crusade, which is to demonize the right-wing white men, wink, wink, Trump, a white man. He wants to get to fuck white men. That sounded gay. And it makes it less easy to say fuck white men if the white men who killed this dude had a legitimate reason to kill this dude. If they didn't, and if they were just purely evil, if it was an execution, if his gun didn't go off, then, oh my God, they are monstrous, they're evil. Fuck white men, am I right? Now we have something to crusade against. That's why he left it out. Now, if you are sufficiently smart, you will notice that he left out the key part of the story that would make these people not evil, and it would make their actions at least plausibly defensible. And it's not a minor part of the story, it is the story. There was a situation where two guys had guns. One of the guys fired his gun and killed the other guy. Okay, well, who shot first? Well, it's confusing. It was the guy who died who shot first. But not really. His gun shot first, but he didn't squeeze the trigger of his gun. That is the nuance of this story, and it's literally the only relevant thing to talk about with the story. And if you attempt, like we're dipshit assholes, Sam, to con us into thinking the story is they disarmed a guy, then they shot the guy. I mean, it is so insulting to our intelligence that he just, like, Sam, your ass-kissing interviewer who is on your payroll, why doesn't he challenge you on this? Or your chat, or anybody. Like, I'm a huge fan of yours, and I'm challenging you. Why are you not mentioning this point? This guy understands the nuance of, like, torture. He will go into the moral nuances of when it's okay to torture somebody. And he's not going to seriously grapple with the fact that this dude's defective gun went off? Unfucking believable.
For no apparent reason. Where is gun culture on?
You see that? For no apparent reason. He had the nerve to add that at the end of that. Listen to this. They shot this guy for no apparent reason.
Rounds in his body and killed him for no apparent reason.
Well, I guess your thesis is correct, Sam. Your premise is correct. I guess white men are fucking evil and horrible. I guess. That's all I'm left with. I mean, you did surgically remove the thing that explains their actions, but, you did it so deftly. I mean, your lie of omission was so stark and, like, absolute that I guess morons won't notice that it even happened. That's the thing about omitting stuff. It doesn't exist. And out of sight, out of mind, right? So for no apparent reason now, a horse in Central Park took off in a maniacal sprint and ran into a hot dog vendor. For no apparent reason. No apparent reason, Devin. You shot your gun right next to the horse. Oh yeah, there was that.
Where is gun culture on this? It's completely...
Back to fuck white men. Hey, gun culture, aka white men. You guys are so fucking hypocritical. You're not morally good people like me. I'm morally good because I just explained very accurately why the horse took off in Central Park.
insane. I'm as mystified by this as anything I've seen so far.
I want to discuss a different reaction online that I saw. I want you to watch a bit of this clip, and then I'll share Megyn Kelly's takeaway, and then I want to get your reaction to all of this. Can we play that clip, please?
Well, good. We get to shit on a white woman.
This is a moment the news movement filmed on January 13th in Minneapolis, showing a man who appears to be Alex Pretti interacting with federal immigration agents 11 days before Border Patrol shot and killed him.
Pour some alcohol out for that taillight. And this is totally what should have happened. If you spit on that car and you're yelling at them and you're a total cunt, and by the way, this guy's got a weapon and he's committing crime. So crime A, spitting. Crime B, kicking out this taillight. Fuck this dude. Crime C, he's about to resist arrest. So, like, this guy's a piece of shit. And Sam's only takeaway from this is going to be, well, what happened 11 days ago doesn't justify his execution. So he's going to, no one's saying that, but this is relevant to who this guy was. And here's a new talking point. Hey, you know OJ, you know he killed Nicole Brown Simpson, his ex-wife, he decapitated her. We have evidence that he domestically abused her multiple times. She has bruises on her face. She went to the courts. She medically documented this all. Multiple times, police were called in on violent domestic abuse cases where OJ was beating Nicole. Well, that doesn't factor into the fact that whether or not he killed her. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It's a track record. It's a modus operandi. It is who this guy was. It is further evidence that informs what we know happened the day of the murder, because it fits in this pattern. So no one's saying this guy, it's justified to shoot this guy. He was shot because of the gun misfiring and them thinking that they needed to defend themselves. That's the reason. Okay, let me cut to the chase on that. But this goes to show that this guy was not some innocent angel. He was there not to protest, but to antagonize. He was committing crimes. This is a pattern of behavior. I mean, he's lucky he survived this encounter, quite frankly. Like, he's a fucking idiot. Okay, he should not have brought that gun. That is a ridiculous position. And if you're anti-gun like me, if you're pro-gun control like me, if you're concerned about people and their access to guns and the lethality that decision for them to own guns and to wield guns, and that will always inevitably lead to more people dying. If that is your stance, which is my stance, I'm not going to sit there and be like, you guys are hypocrites. I'm going to say, congratulations, you're correct. This fuck and no fuck should bring guns and antagonize cops. That's the stance. That's the point. My main point is to avoid unnecessary human death. Their point is to dunk on white men.
Our footage was analyzed by the BBC, whose facial recognition technology confirmed his identity to a 97%
This guy running around.
degree of accuracy.
Dude, just chill out.
Okay, so here's what she said. Alex Pretti was itching for another confrontation with Border Patrol, whom he'd been stalking.
And so now we're going through the prism of, did Megyn Kelly say something? Like, here's a question. Why can't Sam just react to that clip? Why does he now have to react to Megyn Kelly reacting to that clip? Okay.
Harassing and terrorizing. He had been victimizing them. His felonies are on tape. He was
This is all correct.
reckless, and it cost him his life. Find another poster boy, illegal, loving leftist.
Yeah, and his recklessness was partly the gun that was defective that he brought.
So why can't she...
So now Sam is faced with the challenge of, I've got to steer this conversation. Megyn Kelly is trying to put some responsibility of the death of Alex Pretti on Alex Pretti, which is beyond an easy thing to do. I mean, again, he is antagonizing cops. This is like saying Steve Irwin didn't have anything to do with his own death. He was antagonizing a stingray. Okay, he was lucky to have survived all the snake encounters, crocodile encounters, etc. Eventually, the stingray acted in self-defense. Okay, and Steve Irwin is partly to blame for his death, 100%. But Sam doesn't want to blame Alex Pretti, and he wants to blame white people, Megyn Kelly, those ICE agents, Trump, Second Amendment people. That's his goal. So now it's like, wait a minute, is Alex Pretti at all responsible here? And let's see what talking points Sam has soaked up from his left-wing timeline.
Be mostly right, but entirely wrong.
It doesn't matter.
That's the one talking point. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that O.J. Simpson was beating his wife for years before he killed her. No one's saying it literally matters what he did 11 days ago. No one's making that case, Sam. So he is afraid to grapple with the truth of, we're talking about this dude's character. He's not a peaceful protester. He's not an observer. He's not an innocent dove. He was antagonizing cops and bringing a gun to the scenario, making the encounter likely to be lethal. Okay. The reason he's dead is something else you are omitting and surgically removing out of convenience because it's unfortunate for you. It's awkward. You don't know how to deal with the fact that this guy's gun went off and that those guys were justified in thinking, holy shit, this guy's firing on us.
What happened 11 days before? It doesn't matter who he is. I mean, honestly, he could have been...
It does matter who he is because we're not talking... What they're doing is conflating any analysis of who Alex Pretti is, and he's representative of all these fucking cunts, from Renee Good to all of these people. That matters in and of itself. Nobody is saying because this guy is a cunt, a documented, violent punk bitch, he deserved to die. No one is saying that. Okay? The reason he's dead is on the grounds and merit of what he did the day he died. That's sufficient that day. Him bringing that gun, him resisting arrest and committing crimes that day, his gun going off that day. That's what happened there. You are now avoiding the elephant in the room of us just acknowledging and addressing that these people are anti-ICE, they're criminal, they're not protesters, there's no legitimacy to what they're doing, they are a problem. Okay, they're an issue. And you are simply arguing with a straw man that no one is saying. No one's saying because he's a cunt, because he kicked out a taillight, because he spits on people, that he deserved to die. No one's saying that.
Some kind of hardened criminal that they knew they were apprehending for cause, right? And they find a gun on his belt. They disarm him.
Here, we're doing the story again. Devin, you walked up to the horse. It was attached to a buggy. They cost a lot of dough. It's like at least $100 to get on that, probably more. The horse then took off in a violent sprint. It rose up on its hind legs like it was a Pegasus, and it just started going berserk. Have you ever seen footage of an elephant just running wild, just chucking Indian people into the air? That was that horse in Central Park. That is my telling of it. I'm an adult male. I'm just sort of hoping that you don't know the truth. I'm hoping that you didn't hear the gunshot. Unbelievable, Sam.
That's it. They don't kill him.
What? Wait, what? Say that again?
They disarm him.
Uh-huh.
That's it.
That's it. That's the end of the story. Devin, you walked up to the horse, and then that's it. The horse just took off. That's it.
They don't kill him. Once he is restrained, and he never reached for his gun. They found it on his belt when they were wrestling with him, and I mean that
wrestling with him, Sam. It's called resisting arrest. He's resisting arrest for having committed a crime, and he's committing a second crime, and it's like, you call that wrestling?
That engagement, the fact that they went hands-on at that point seemed totally illegitimate. But let's
so Sam's taking his side on he shouldn't have been arrested. Interesting.
Let's just say it was fine, right?
Yeah.
Let's just say
let's do that.
They had reason to force him to the ground.
Right, he's interfering with police activity, which is, by the way, what that prior video establishes, that's who he was, that's his motivation, that's his history. So within several hours of him dying, he is committing more crimes against ICE agents. This speaks to his character, it speaks to his motivation. That's why it's relevant. You are trying to downplay the fact that maybe he's just a random guy, he's a bird watcher just wandering the streets of Minneapolis. Sam, you're pretending that this guy wasn't a fucking professional agitator. A pointless, angry, randomly Jewish 37-year-old man who has nothing better than to die by suicide by cop. The guy was a fucking loser.
Pepper spray him, etc.
Yeah.
Again, the video doesn't suggest that, but even if you're going to price all of that in and give them the benefit of the doubt, what then happened is they discovered a gun on his belt.
We're doing the story for the third time. Okay. Sam, just surprise me. For once in your fucking life, just surprise me and accurately describe the only relevant event, the only relevant fact of this scuffle as to why he died. If you insult my intelligence, I will literally freak the fuck out. I will go to Turkey get hair plants, what do they call it? Get hair plugs put into my head. I will have a full head of hair. I will then rip my hair out if you do not say that his gun misfired and spooked the agents. Seriously, I will kick you out personally of the 4 horsemen of the non-apocalypse if you do not treat me as an adult, show me some fucking respect, and mention that his gun went off. If you don't mention that, you're a goddamn liar or a moron.
You see one cop grab it and walk away.
Then what, Sam? Then what happened? You could see a fucking muzzle flash from that guy walking away. You've seen this video. You could hear the sound. The sound of the shooting is this. Pop. Pop, pop, pop. Pop, 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 pop. What do you think that was? One guy shooting? Bang. Wait. Pause. Wait for a beat. Shot 2, 3, 4, 5. No. It's one guy fires and then, holy shit, somebody just fired. Let me return fire. It's like kind of relevant in a shootout. Holy fucking hell. Who shot first? Apparently doesn't matter. Apparently that doesn't matter.
And then you see him shot by...
What? See, you missed it. You missed it again, Sam. You damn it. It was right there. All of a sudden he's shot. Holy shit. So him getting it wrong, the ICE agent didn't shoot first. Your thoughts, Sam? Do you understand that that's true? Please tell me you understand it's true. Please tell me you understand that there's a difference had the ICE agent shot first. Please acknowledge, grapple with, give a defense for the fact that, tell me you understand the fact that the ICE agent was not the first to shoot. Please include that in the fucking story, Sam. I get that you want to demonize white men, but not this guy because he didn't shoot first. Now, it's tragic and it was a mistake and the gun shouldn't have fired. He shouldn't have had a gun. He shouldn't have brought the gun. We can go back and back. We could spread blame all around. But here's what we're not going to do. Lie about what happened and pretend that the ICE agent shot first when he didn't.
I don't know how many guys. I think it was at least 2 for no reason, right? It's just...
Oh my God, I almost choked. He said that again. For no reason. Sam, the man shot to return fire. So let me present this to you, oh magnificent guru. He was returning fire to save his life. Now, you could come back with, well, wait a minute, the guy didn't shoot him. Yes, I'm aware. We can get into those details of the fact that we're talking about the gun shooting itself. And we talk about the blame. Who's to blame for that gun shooting itself? The ICE agent? No, he didn't squeeze the trigger. So who are we blaming for that? The manufacturer of the gun? Okay, partially. How about the guy who brought that fucking gun, knowing it's a defective gun? Does he deserve some blame? I would say so. Unreal. Oh my God, Sam. It's not for no reason, Sam. He shot because someone else shot, and he's reacting to that shot. Can you imagine how simple-minded you'd have to be? How fucking repugnantly dumb you'd have to be to not mention that component of this story? He's acting like, for no reason, the ICE agent opened fire and shot first. That is his telling of this story. This is not revisionist history. This is not even part of history. This happened a few hours ago, and it's on video from multiple angles. And he's still mangling it. Mangled. Holy fuck.
There's nothing about this video that changes that.
Well,
Sam, the guy's gunshot. Okay.
I'm saying, but even if he did all those
my
things in the video and he did it in real time to the cops, Megyn Kelly can be right about saying, you don't behave this way. There are better ways to protest. You can do all those things.
It doesn't mean he deserves to die.
But I guess I'm just utterly shocked that the conclusion would be the cost of any of this would be losing your life.
Dude, it's like these people are like children. They're like children. He lost his life because a cop thought his life was in danger because a gun went off. It was his gun. It was Pretti's gun. So he's resisting arrest. It's announced he's got a gun. He's got a gun. His gun then goes off. And it freaks this guy the fuck out. And it's quite reasonable to understand why that guy was freaked out. It's like, there's guns going off. Whose gun is it? It's Pretti's gun. And in the telling of the story, they think so little of themselves, of you, of their audience. They don't think anyone's going to decipher this? Am I the only one who's figured this out? This is what I'm describing here is the only part of the story that matters. Everything else doesn't matter. It's the only part that matters, and it's being ghosted.
Yeah. Well, so the thing I'm focusing on here, though, I mean, the thing that truly astounds me is that, I mean, yes, all of this is true. This is not the way you want to behave as a protester.
It's not a protest, Sam. And so that Sam ghosting the prior video from 11 days ago and not understanding, that's not a fucking protest, Sam. That's more akin to terrorism. It's intentional violence and antagonism. So it's incitement, but it's more than interference. It's just criminal behavior. It's like more like rioting. It's the guy is doing suicide by cop every time he goes out there. So to call this a protest, you're lying.
I have no idea who this guy was. I mean, obviously he was immediately vilified by the federal government at every level, which is.
But yes. Why wouldn't he be? What is he doing there? This is not a peaceful protester.
Which is insane, right? We shouldn't.
No, it's not.
Have a government that does that. But even if he was the worst person on earth, the way he was killed, the fact that he was killed, and the subsequent statements about that killing are shocking.
Shameful.
Right? And they're especially shocking for how completely they repudiate the Second Amendment. I mean, that's the thing that I just...
Dude, Sam, the Second Amendment is not the issue here. Your side quest to dunk on right-wing white guys who like the Second Amendment is totally irrelevant. Okay, what's shameful here is your aversion to the moral truth of what happened to Alex Pretti. You cannot defend this. This is such legacy-destroying fuckery from Sam Harris. Holy shit.
Just cannot get my head around that half of America that cares so deeply about gun rights, or whatever it is. Let's just say it's 25% of America that really cares deeply. Let's just say it's 10 million people who for whom it's their single issue. Where the hell are they?
Sam, they're living their lives. And by the way, those people don't think the Second Amendment should go away. They're happy to have guns. So what kind of a dunk do you think this is? Here's what some Second Amendment people might say. Yes, I have the right to bear arms. Yes, no one takes my guns. I love guns. Pretti had a right to a gun. Maybe he doesn't have a right to take a gun to fuck with agents and then resist arrest. That's not a hypocrisy. That's not even inconsistent. You could be pro-Second Amendment and also think that. So it's such a bizarre, like, this is a talking point that came on his timeline. He's like, ooh, that sounds good. That's a chance for me to get a W against the right wing. It's like, it's so nothing. That's a nothing statement. And also it's awkward for me because I'm like, I'm not that guy. There's no hypocrisy with me. I'm totally against guns. I'm against him bringing that gun. I'm against that defective gun itself. I mean, clearly this guy was not mentally well. Why the fuck does he even own a gun? Like, fuck Alex Pretti and fuck you for lying. You're 100% lying about this story. There's no need. Like, it's surprising. It's genuinely surprising to me. Like, would Hitchens lie about this? Would any adult? Like, can you take a person serious who's lying about this? They lie about the fentanyl George Floyd took. They'll lie about Renee Good driving an SUV into a guy. So should I be surprised that left-wingers lie about this? What matters more, you dunking on white men or telling the truth? Well, clearly you have provided your answer, and you guys have mine.